BJ Gaddour with the Daily BJ, and these are my 10 favorite bear crawl variations. One of the most underrated, underutilized movements in existence. Amazing for improving core and shoulder stability, strengthening the knees, developing the quads, improving breathing mechanics, squatting and lunging mechanics. So I think you'll really enjoy this. It's also something you can plug into a circuit as a core or upper body exercise, or even my favorite way as a starter or finisher, going for 5 to 10 straight minutes. Rest, pausing only as needed. It's a real good one for mental strength and fortitude, but also so good for improving the entire body all at once. Here are my top 10 moves, but before we get into them, I'm a huge believer in crediting those who've come before us, so shout out to all the bears for all their crawling. Thank you. Number 1, bear crawling basics. You want about an equal amount of weight on the hands and the feet. The hands are underneath the shoulders, the knees are underneath the hips. If you have longer femurs and thigh bones, the hips might be elevated slightly, but try to kind of keep the hips low so there's a straight line from the head through the hips. So we can go 3 main ways on these, right? Forwards, and it's an opposite arm leg pattern, and the big focus on the bear crawl is just keeping a tight core, controlling the movements. These are actually best done slow and controlled, right? I can also go laterally. Gonna get the whole kind of rotator cuff hip complex going all at once. I can even do kind of a circular pattern in place. All right, just focus on equal placement, hands and feet, keeping the hips low. And again, you get as much work into the quads as into the arms and shoulders. So I think you'll love that one. Up next, we'll play around with height. The low pattern is gonna stress the quads a bit more by elevating the hips in more of a pike position. We can actually stretch the hips and hamstrings more and shift a little more weight into the shoulders, particularly working the lower mid trap. These areas right here that actually pull the shoulder blades down and back. Very important for shoulder health and performance. So I'm gonna pike up as high as I can and maintaining that straight arm, straight leg position, going forwards and back, keeping a slight abdominal crunch the whole way, and then return. So this one is just great. A lot of these too, by the way, can be plugged in to warm-ups for mobility, activation, great for active recovery as well. Just like with any movement, tempo is one of the variables you want to play around with a lot. So we can do some slow, some fast, some mixed tempo. So as I mentioned earlier, the best way to start your crawls is to do it very slow and controlled, as if balancing a glass of water on your back, like you're a table. So owning that initial slow, even like going super slow, slow-mo. Doesn't look very cool on video, but again, it's one of those things. When you go really fast, you don't really own the pattern, you're just kind of messing around. So own it slow. Now here's some fast, slow combinations. Get those fast switch fibers going. Think about exploding out the ball as a lineman. So I can come up really quick, recover, back, nice and slow. And then I can keep repeating that pattern. I can also do that laterally. Out quick, and then recover, back, slow. That's a fun one. You can do 5 to 10 total reps out as fast as you can, recover back slow, or work it in for time. But again, you take a move that can be kind of boring, and you take the same pattern with your body weight to make it fun and more challenging and stimulate the muscles and the privates. Mini band crawling is a way to put the movement on steroids for lots of other benefits and also different vectors of resistance to get total body development. So what you want to do is the lighter mini band goes around the wrist, heavier band above the knees. That's my preference. All my equipment is at gardenofgains.com. That's gains with a Z. So we can do forward or lateral patterns, and all this is going to do is, like, beyond just moving the arms in these patterns, we're resisting it. So the muscles of the rotator cuff, the scapula, and the hips, those ass cheeks are going to get lit. This is so good for correcting almost everything that goes wrong with most movements. I'm serious, like, this is a money movement. So we lock in, you're gonna keep tension out against the band the whole way, come forwards, and instantly, right now I'm feeling hip flexors down low, and obviously scap, rotator cuff up high. And then if I go laterally, I start to tie in the rear delts and lats a little more, but also the hip abductors, rotators. This one is just money. Again, part of the reason why you can really improve your squatting and lunging mechanics, even pull-ups, is because you're teaching yourselves how to properly stack the ribs on top of the pelvis with an active core to make sure there's no motion through the lumbar spine, the lower back. So that's key. Enjoy that. Weighted options are also excellent. People love to add loads. This one will probably be one you want to jump to right away. One thing you know with the weight plate, because you're getting movement, you actually are creating movement through the scapula. It might create more shifting than normal, as if doing a push-up. So you got to go real slow. This is also one of those things. If you want to go loaded on this, you got to go even slower and more controlled so it doesn't shift on you, or just go with a weight vest. So you're going to take the weight plate, bring it overhead, and then just kind of slide it so it's covering as much of your trunk as possible. Like that. There we go. Nice save. So I'm locked in, and then from there, slow, controlled. So this is where like any sort of weak links in the kinetic chain are exposed as a total lie detector test for the stability you have in the hips and shoulders. Right there, I almost lost it. I'm also talking. So that's a fun one to add to the mix. Coming off, just hit it to the side, or you can grab it. I like making noise. Weight vest is also a great option, but again, when you do the weighted options, you go back to the body weight only, you'll have a lot more strength and control. You can also go faster for those explosive variations. Another loaded option that'll put a little more stress to the shoulders is a dumbbell or center mass bell, what I'm using from Soranex option. So all we do is we get into our position, and then I have to actually pick the weight up. So there's immediately when the weight picks up, core, quads pick in really hard, also the rear shoulder. So I can do that pattern like here. I could even mix in doing some bear rows. And again, you can go forwards and backwards. Super fun drill to add to the mix. And again, a way to take that body weight move and heavily intensify for them guys. Free band, place it around the middle of the feet and then right above the wrists. Get into the bear crawl position. Here's the progression. So we got actually now resistance in that horizontal plane. And I'm going to initially just walk out from a bear crawl to an extended plank or push-up, bring it back. I can progress to then jumping out to a push-up, recovering back, and then make it continuous. Great plyometric movement. Okay, so you don't tell me that the bear crawl is too boring or too easy. Lots of ways to intensify, but obviously this one is not for beginners or people without a soul. I was born and raised in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, so I'm a cheesehead, diehard Green Bay Packers fan. So to me, this is how the Chicago Bears look every season, wounded. The one-legged wounded bear. So I get locked in. Now all that stress goes to one quad at a time. Again, good for strengthening the knees. So I'm just gonna, on that pattern, like a wounded bear in the wild, I'm gonna find a way to make it work and get to that honey pot. So you'll have a lot of fun with this one. Try 1 minute per side for 10 minutes straight, and you'll get an incredible whole body workout. You can do it anytime, anywhere. The bear still sucks. This is what happens when a bear fucks a donkey and then goes dancing. I think you'll enjoy this one. Awesome combination move, crushing calories, building power, explosiveness, stability. Great blended movement here. So what I'm gonna do is bear crawl a couple reps forward, and then the break dancer is when I turn to the side, leg comes underneath, hand face guards, come back other side, return, and then lift and kick. And I keep repeating that pattern for time. This is great for sets of 2 to 3 minutes at a minimum, because again, each rep takes some time, but it's a way to have some fun like a total jackass in the gym. Enjoy. Final move, total core crusher. We're doing a bear plank up to walkout. So bear crawl position, transfer from the hands to the forearms, preventing the hips from rotating. Keep the hips and shoulders as square to the ground as you can. Then walk out as far as you can into an overhead extended plank. Hold for a count, squeeze the quads, glutes, and core. Bring it back, and then other side leads down. Ready for triceps as well. Again, simple moves, major gains. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Please subscribe to my channel. You get my LungeMan shorts and the muscle tee at sleeves.soldseparately.com. And all my other programs are in the description along with the video. Love you guys. Peace.